Hi, I'm Daniel. In the mid-to-late 2000s, Futurama had four straight TV movies. They each got split up into four-part episodes as season 5 or 6. The order is confusing. Middle era, well not anymore, had more experimentation in young form stories. Still can't feel big like separate stories coming together as they go on. Guarantee they only wanted 2 films, but asked for 4 with planned of battering down to 2. They just accepted 4. I find this fact funny, and while I might be biased, I think it's clear which 2 they are planning. We'll rank the Futurama films, and honestly, this just easy fits. In my opinion, there's no doubt in this order. So if you haven't, watch my top 25 best classic Futurama episodes, which are discussing the first era. My macaroni videos don't do the best in views, but the announcement of Futurama coming back that I'm conflicted on will at least do a video for the revival era sometime before the release of the new era. On to the ranking now. 4. The Beast with $1 billion. Don't think this special is quite bad. I like Bender's side plot and it's mostly funny, which is typical Futurama. But it is probably one of the weakest Futurama episodes if it's counted as one. There's some issues in the first half with trying to juggle the space hole with Fry's new girlfriend, and I can't go a full 7 minutes forgetting one of them. Although that might be intentional. And then has the world being taken over and becomes a year story with Bender's plot going ahead. Finally, the whole last 30 minutes has so many dumb moments and story events that happen. Even though the beast in the title is really treated too positive by the narrative, it's clear they wanted to say something with the ending, but it's so rushed and badly executed. Instead of sounding like jealousy and hate is what life should be over boringness, it just seems depressing. Film showed heaven as a great place that everyone was okay with right before. Do you like how all the plots end up being connected by the theme of jealousy and wanting things? It has a bunch of weird and illogical stuff that I want to consider as uncanon. Should have had a big impact on this world. There's things I like here, so I'll talk about that now. I like the ominous and mysterious presence Yevo had before its introduction. Antworth and Wordsworth finally work together is great, and their dynamic carries what makes the first half okay. The Death Ball scene works like a comedic set piece. I mentioned this before, but Ben reviving Calcleon in the League of Nations is an entertaining side plot. Comedy is overall fine, but some jokes are yo bar. This film progressively gets worse and worse as it goes on. The Beast with being back is mediocre and kind of uncomfortable in some moments. If this reworked some elements like the message, this could have at least made sense. This is the only film I think should be longer. 3. Bender's Game. While this is definitely better than The Beast with $1 billion, it is the worst paced. It was made with the intention to be split up into 4 episodes with some of it. I thought it was weird how long Beast took until he got to the main world takeover, but the build-up was connected to it. This however takes so long to get to the fancy world. It's a plot of Yi getting a shock collar to deal with her anger issues and Bender becoming addicted to Dungeons & Dragons for a whole episode. Well, there's some importance for this later on. The first 20 minutes should have been the first 10, and we should have got to the Dark Matter story on Mom's Year faster. Comedy works but is weaker than usual, although I do like the return of the robot ward. Saying in the main frame is really underrated. The transfer to the fantasy world is interesting for how it presents all the characters in the world. However, fantasy parodies have got old both recently and even then. It doesn't do things original or do unique twists with it. So I don't properly understand how they were sent there. Ben had dark matter in him, so his fantasy became real with digging in his brain, and the people in Mom's Year get sent there because that's where dark matter is located. But how come only Fan Yi have their old memories and Farnsworth doesn't when they're standing right next to him? Also, how did Amy's, Hermes and Soyberg go there too? I'd just be missing something. Do stuff finds entertaining and they all have cool designs and roles in this world. Fry doesn't do much most of this movie until the die makes him go insane and it's clear he had plans for everyone else. Mom is a great antagonist who is evil both as a greedy rich person and mother here, who might be the best part of this movie. I like how Ignis is handled and the reveal, but it should have been mentioned again in the revival era. I also like the science fiction concept with fuels and the crystals of matter. It's okay, but it has too many flaws with the setup that is the most forgettable film. 2. Into the Wild Green Yonder. This was actually one of the first things Futurama I saw that showed all the great stories, lore, and character variations that The Simpsons didn't have. The Simpsons is still great by fair Futurama. This film is still good, maybe even great, but I can't admit not all held up. First, the great stuff. Fry read mind, this third things off the wire Fry with Yakko Delta Brainwave. He has to save the world but keep it a secret from Yonder, who has the same goal. This is a great film developing a relationship, and you can say with the motif of your you that's all that matters. Both villains are great, Year 1 for being the businessman trope, and the more comedic version of it, and the mysteriousness of the dark one. There's also some Zap Radigan here, and he has a high kill count this film. The way this film ends is so beautiful with nature and Yam personified in that speech. And then they're going into a wormhole, be a very satisfying ending if it was one. The whole sequence of the last 7 minutes is spectacular. It's also consistently funny throughout, with lots of great jokes. While some of the stuff disconnected, mainly Bender's 13th for some love interest of the mob with wife that leads to nothing. However, that poker tournament is a superb comedic scene. The problems, like I said, they quickly ignored that Bender plot, and most of the finales ignore him for flying year except the third one. Still some great Bender moments here, but it's ignored for the sake of others when the show's meant to be about a trio. So this tries to tell feminist message while presenting most of them as stereotypical stupid or both. Gets what the eco-feminists are trying to do confused, and it makes me wonder what happened before the 3000s that sex is worse than it is now. It's probably worse than it was when this came out. So y'all wasted time here, and I think it needed a rewrite to be an incredible Futurama story that doesn't just value two characters. There's a couple elements that falter inconsistent stakes and problems that wouldn't make it the best finale. So I can't deny how much I love what it gets right. 1. Bender's big score, the big comedic and emotional Futurama masterpiece in the form of this film. Any doubt if Futurama will work at the 3 years was destroyed by this fantastic film. Comedy is spectacular, constant great jokes. The characters are back, the whole opening is how through fourth wall making jokes superbly, and all it there are some things. I don't think any story elements or characters got snubbed for the runtime here. Story gets more higher stakes throughout the ending in a climatic boss battle. I understand why some could hate the villains, and while I don't hate the design, I think they are funny with how villains are first overlooked by the character and audience manage to scam and have all your earth. Time travel used effectively rules them place, and the Futurama lore is expanded to great use. There's 2 good songs, many references to fans, and it's something I could rave about for a long time. But what really makes it is the emotional aspects of Fry's character. One of him stays in the past and lives a different life with lots of transition to present and past halfway through. You may yet look at the fires from Jurassic Park, what are known as the best episode by the fans. It soft the contrast with the action and shows you Fry's character wondering what will happen to him. When the reveal happened, you can see the excitement of him being Yars, tying a bow over the timeline. Mean to Yoff with Fry and Year's relationship ongoing. You can see the issue of contradicting how Fry left his family behind, but 1, I think that timeline no longer exists due to what Game of Tone said. 2, from my perspective, it wasn't really about how his family missed him, or how the Fry we follow never saw them again. Perfectly presents the emotional core of Futurama, while being funny at the same time. I think I make a big enough deal of the comedy, and the foreshadowing of Yars and Bender's plan. It's the main part of Futurama, and not just the best film, but the best episode, Bender's big score. 10 out of 10 Futurama movie. In conclusion, this era has the best episode, but I think it is the weakest Futurama era. The feel of the movies are more mixed, and there was definitely overarching problems. It's clearly TV writers trying to make films, but keeping the structure the same. However, more Futurama was a good thing because more was wanted. It's also experimental for being different to other Futurama. I would say if there was more movies they would have got better, but they got it incredibly first time. I actually would have wanted another revival movie, but not a series. Because if it isn't good, it could be ignored more easily. I also wonder what would happen if there was a higher budget intended cinemas movie. And see if it could try to approach general audiences. All 4 of these movies are primarily Futurama fans. Doing it differently could either fail badly or end up a masterpiece. This era isn't great, but yet the way to the revival era, which the better is often called, really got back into making 22-minute episodes seamlessly with many amazing ones. Especially in the first batch of 26 episodes. I have mixed feelings on the announcement of a 4th era coming next year, but hopefully they make it work. This is kind of an animated studio ranking, but not really. I might do Armor next, but don't expect it anytime soon. Cause it's getting harder to find time to watch multiple films in one video. Hope you enjoyed the rankings, but more a combination of 4 mini reviews like this. So I have and will make videos on Simpsons and Disenchantment. The end.